She brought a guy to our house while I was on a business trip. She didn't know I was watching the smart home feed. I waited until they got comfortable, then remotely locked the doors and blasted Cheater by the Vamps on max volume through every speaker. The guy jumped through a window to escape. Posted this in relationship advice, but they told me to come here instead. So I'm 29M and work in cybersecurity. Been with my girlfriend Tara, 26F, for about 18 months. We don't live together officially, but she basically moved into my place 6 months ago. Has her own tea, sleeps there most nights, keeps clothes and stuff there. I own a pretty nice house in the suburbs, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, with a decent backyard. Bought it 2 years ago when I got promoted. The house came with some basic smart home stuff, but I went crazy upgrading everything because it's literally what I do for work. We're talking smart locks on every door, smart doorbell with facial recognition cameras in every room except bedrooms and bathrooms, motion sensors, smart speakers throughout the house, automated lighting, climate control, the works. I can control everything from my phone or laptop. Tara knew about most of the tech stuff, but she's not really into gadgets. Always said it was too complicated, and she'd just rather use regular switches and keys. Fair enough, not everyone's a tech nerd. The problem started about 2 months ago. Tara began acting weird about my work trips. I travel maybe twice a month for conferences or client meetings, usually just 2 or 3 days. She used to be cool with it, even liked having the house to herself to binge watch shows and order takeout. But suddenly she was asking tons of questions about my schedule. When exactly was I leaving? What time would I be back? Which hotel was I staying at? At first I thought she was just missing me more as we got more serious. Then she started suggesting I should cut back on travel. Said it wasn't good for our relationship that I was gone so much. This was weird because my travel schedule hadn't changed and she'd never complained before. I also noticed she was being more secretive with her phone. Used to leave it lying around, now she kept it face down or took it with her everywhere. Started getting texts at weird hours and would quickly close whatever she was looking at when I walked by. When I asked about it, she said work was just stressing her out. She does marketing for a local gym chain, so I figured maybe they were expanding or something. But her explanations were always vague, and she'd change the subject quickly. 3 weeks ago, I had to go to Denver for a client presentation. Big potential contract, so I couldn't cancel or postpone. Tara seemed annoyed when I told her about the trip, kept saying the timing was bad, and asking if I really had to go. The night before I left, she was acting super affectionate. Making my favorite dinner, being extra touchy, talking about how much she'd miss me. Looking back, it was probably guilt, but at the time I thought she was just being sweet. I flew out Tuesday morning for a Wednesday presentation, planning to come back Thursday evening. Standard 3-day trip, nothing unusual. Tara dropped me at the airport and everything seemed normal. Tuesday night around 11 p.m., I was reviewing my presentation in the hotel room when I decided to check the house cameras. I do this sometimes when I travel just to make sure everything's secure. Perks of having a smart home setup. I pulled up the app on my laptop, expecting to see empty rooms. Maybe Tara asleep on the couch watching Netflix. Instead, I saw her in my living room, with some guy I'd never seen before. They were sitting pretty close on the couch, sharing a bottle of wine. My first thought was maybe it was her brother or a friend from work. But then I saw them kiss and my stomach dropped through the floor. This wasn't some friendly visit. This was a date. In my house. While I was across the country. I watched for about 10 minutes trying to process what I was seeing. They were all over each other, making out like teenagers. Tara was wearing this black dress I'd bought her for our anniversary. The guy was tall with dark hair, looked like he worked out a lot. I could have confronted them right then. Called Tara's phone or used the smart speakers to say something, but I was too shocked to think straight. Plus, part of me wanted to see how far this would go. They moved to the kitchen, where Tara was showing him around like she owned the place. Pointing out the fancy coffee machine, I'd bought the wine fridge, the smart appliances, playing hostess in my house with her side piece. The guy seemed impressed, asking questions about the tech setup. Tara was laughing and touching his arm, being all flirty. At one point, she pressed him against the counter and started unbuttoning his shirt. That's when I closed the laptop. I'd seen enough to know this wasn't some innocent mistake or misunderstanding. Tara was cheating on me in my own house and enjoying every second of it. I barely slept that night. Kept thinking about what I'd witnessed, replaying it in my head. Part of me wanted to fly home immediately and confront them. But my presentation was too important, and honestly, I needed time to figure out my next move. Wednesday was a blur. Gave my presentation on autopilot, mind completely elsewhere. Closed the deal, but couldn't even feel good about it. Kept checking my phone for messages from Tara, acting like everything was normal. She texted me around noon, saying she missed me and couldn't wait for me to come home. Even sent a selfie of her in bed with the caption, "Lonely without you." The audacity was unbelievable. That evening, I was back in my hotel room when curiosity got the better of me. I opened the camera app again, wondering if Mystery Guy was back for round 2. Sure enough, there they were in my living room again, looking even more comfortable. This time they'd ordered pizza and were eating it off my good plates. Tara was wearing one of my college hoodies and nothing else from what I could tell. The guy was in just boxers and a t-shirt sprawled across my couch like he lived there. They were watching some movie on my 75-inch TV, laughing and feeding each other pizza. It was so casual and domestic, it made me sick. Like they were playing house in my space while I was working my ass off in Denver. I noticed they'd moved some stuff around. My guitar was in a different corner, the throw pillows were rearranged. Small things, but it showed they were making themselves at home. Probably planning to clean up before I got back and pretend nothing happened. Around 10 p.m., they started getting handsy again. I watched them make out on my couch, his hands all over her. That's when I decided I'd had enough of being a passive observer. Time to flip the script. I started planning my revenge. The smart home system wasn't just for monitoring, it was for control. Every lock, every speaker, every light was connected to my phone. I could turn my house into a nightmare for these two cheaters without even being there. But timing was everything. I needed to wait until they were really comfortable, really settled in. Make the shock factor as brutal as possible. Give them a scare they'd never forget. Thursday morning, I told Tara my flight was delayed and I wouldn't be home until late Friday. She seemed happy about the extra time, texting back that she'd wait up for me. Yeah, right, she'd be waiting up, all right, just not alone. I actually caught an earlier flight Thursday afternoon and was back in the city by 6 p.m. But instead of going home, I checked into a hotel near the airport. Grabbed dinner and waited for the show to begin. Around 8 p.m., I started monitoring the cameras. Tara and her boyfriend were back already in full date night mode. She'd cooked dinner in my kitchen using my groceries, my pans, my dishes. They were eating by candlelight at my dining room table. The guy had flowers with him this time. Roses in a vase sitting on my table like this was some romantic anniversary dinner. The disrespect was off the charts. They weren't just cheating, they were mocking me. After dinner, they moved to the living room with wine. Tara put on music and they started slow dancing in front of my fireplace. She was in this red dress I'd never seen before, probably bought it special for her affair. I watched them dance and laugh, getting more and more angry. These people were celebrating their betrayal in my space, with my stuff acting like they didn't have a care in the world. Time to change that. They eventually sat down on the couch, getting cozy. The guy kicked off his shoes, put his feet up on my coffee table. Tara curled up next to him like they were some old married couple. That's when I knew it was time to act. First, I killed all the lights. Every single bulb in the house went dark at once. I could see them on the cameras looking around, confused, trying to figure out what happened. Tara was fumbling for her phone's flashlight. I gave them about 30 seconds to process the darkness before starting phase 2. Opened my music app and selected the perfect song. Cheater by the Vamps, because I'm not subtle when I'm pissed off. Hit play and cranked the volume to maximum on every speaker in the house. Kitchen, living room, dining room, hallways, bathrooms. 14 speakers all playing the same song at ear-splitting volume. The bass was probably shaking the windows. The camera footage was priceless. Both of them jumped like they'd been electrocuted. The guy fell off the couch, and Tara dropped her wine glass. They were looking around wild-eyed, trying to figure out what the hell was happening. I could see them shouting at each other, but couldn't hear what they were saying over the music. Tara was pointing at the speakers like that would make them stop. The guy was already heading for the door, trying to figure out what was happening. Tara was running around trying different light switches, while the guy checked every door and window. The music kept blasting on repeat. "You're just a cheater, cheater, cheater." Over and over at volumes that probably violated noise ordinances. My neighbors were definitely calling the cops, but I'd deal with that later. By now they'd figured out this wasn't some random malfunction. Tara was screaming something at the cameras, probably realizing I was watching. The guy was in full panic mode, checking his phone, probably trying to call an Uber. That's when he made the decision that turned this into comedy gold. Instead of trying to figure out the front door in the dark with music blasting, he decided to bail through a window. Probably thought it was faster than fumbling with door handles in pitch darkness. Picked the living room window that faces the backyard, grabbed a lamp to break the glass. I watched him smash the window and climb through, cutting himself on the broken glass. He tumbled into my flower bed and took off running across the backyard in just his boxers and t-shirt. Left his shoes, his wallet, his dignity scattered around my living room. Tara was screaming after him, but he was already gone. Probably ran all the way home or called someone to pick him up. Meanwhile, she was stuck inside with the music still blasting and the doors still locked. She spent about 10 more minutes running around the house trying to find a way out. Checked every window, every door, even tried the basement exit. Nothing was responding to manual overrides because I'd disabled them all remotely. Finally, she just sat down on the couch and started crying. The adrenaline had worn off, and reality was setting in. She was trapped in my house by my security system, having just been caught cheating by my cameras. That's when I decided to head home. 20-minute drive from the hotel gave me time to figure out what to say. The music was still playing when I pulled into the driveway, but I could see police cars down the street responding to noise complaints. I parked and used my phone to unlock the front door, turn off the music, and restore normal lighting. Then I walked inside like I'd just gotten back from Denver. Tara was still on the couch, looking like she'd seen a ghost. "Hey babe, I'm home early," I said like nothing had happened. "How was your week?" She just stared at me. Hair messed up, makeup smeared, broken glass, and wine stains on the floor. The roses were knocked over and there was a lamp-shaped hole in my window. "I can explain," she started, but I held up my hand. "No need to explain anything. I saw everything on the cameras. Every kiss, every laugh, every intimate moment you shared with your boyfriend in my house." Her face went white. "You were watching?" "I've been watching for 3 days. Saw him Tuesday night, saw him Wednesday night, and got to see tonight's grand finale live. Pretty entertaining stuff." She tried to say something about it not meaning anything and how sorry she was, but I wasn't interested in hearing it. Told her to pack her stuff and get out. Had 30 minutes before I called the cops for trespassing. She grabbed what she could carry and left crying. Tried to give me back the house key, but I told her to keep it as a souvenir since I was changing the locks anyway. The cops showed up about 10 minutes after she left, asking about noise complaints. Explained that my security system had malfunctioned while I was traveling and blasted music all night. Showed them my flight itinerary as proof I wasn't even in town. They bought it. Spent the next few hours cleaning up the mess and documenting everything. Broken window, wine stains on my rug, damaged lamp. The window repair would cost me, but it was worth it for the entertainment value. Found the guy's wallet in the chaos. Driver's license said his name was Derek and he lived across town. Also found his shoes, which were expensive looking. I put his stuff in a bag to mail back to him later. Saturday morning, I got about 50 texts from Tara begging for forgiveness. She'd apparently told Derek I was psycho and he'd blocked her number. Her sister called too, saying I was cruel and vindictive for embarrassing Tara like that. Cruel and vindictive for catching my girlfriend cheating in my house and using my own security system to scare off her affair partner. Right. The delusion was incredible. I mailed Derek's stuff back to him with no note or explanation. Figured he'd gotten the message loud and clear. Had the locks changed Monday morning. Also upgraded the security system with better motion sensors and audio recording capabilities. If any future girlfriends want to cheat, they'll have to do it somewhere else. The funny part is, Tara kept texting for weeks asking for another chance. Said what happened was a mistake and Derek had pursued her aggressively. That she loved me and wanted to work things out. But her social media told a different story. Posted pictures of them together at restaurants and events going back 2 months. They'd been seeing each other long before that night at my house. I was just the meal ticket while she figured out her options. Derek apparently ghosted her after the window incident. Can't say I blame him. Getting trapped in a crazy smart house probably wasn't part of his affair fantasy. She tried to spin it as my fault for being controlling and invasive. 3 months later, and I'm doing great. Single and loving it. The house feels cleaner somehow without her stuff everywhere. Been on a few dates but taking things slow after getting burned so badly. Upgraded my smart home system even more. Now I have motion tracking doorbell cameras that can identify faces and license plates. If Tara or Derek ever show up on my property again, I'll know immediately. Some people think what I did was too extreme. That I should have just confronted them like an adult, instead of turning my house into a trap. But honestly, they got off easy. I could have called the cops for breaking and entering, or posted the footage online. Instead, they got scared, embarrassed, and publicly humiliated. Derek probably thinks twice before sleeping with taken women now. Tara learned that actions have consequences, and some people don't just roll over when betrayed. The smart home revenge was perfect, because it used their own comfort against them. They thought they were safe in my house while I was traveling. Never occurred to them that the same technology making their affair convenient could be turned against them. Plus, watching it all unfold remotely was incredibly satisfying, better than any movie or TV show. Real people making real mistakes in real time with real consequences. No script, no second takes, just pure, authentic panic. The window repair cost me $800, but it was worth every penny to see Derek tumbling through glass in his underwear. Small price to pay for that level of entertainment. My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, said she heard the music and was about to call police when it suddenly stopped. Asked if everything was okay, and I told her my security system had a software glitch while I was traveling. She seemed satisfied with that explanation. The best part is knowing they'll never feel completely safe cheating again. Every smart TV, every connected speaker, every security camera will remind them of that night when technology turned against them. Their paranoia is my victory. Tara eventually moved in with some new guy she met online. Heard through mutual friends that it's not going well for her. Apparently she's having trust issues and keeps accusing him of cheating. Karma works fast sometimes. Derek apparently moved to a different part of town after the incident. Smart move, honestly, since the whole thing probably traumatized him pretty badly. The roses he brought Tara ended up in my garbage disposal. Seemed like appropriate symbolism for their relationship. Beautiful on the surface, but ultimately just organic waste headed for the sewer. My dating profile mentions I have excellent home security. Most women think it means I'm safety conscious and responsible. They have no idea it also means cheaters get trapped and humiliated by an angry nerd with too much technology. Been thinking about writing a cybersecurity article about smart home risks. How connected devices can be turned against you if someone with access decides to play dirty. Might help other people avoid getting caught the way Derek did. The whole experience taught me to trust my instincts. When Tara started acting weird about my travel and being secretive with her phone, I should have investigated sooner. But at least I found out before wasting more time on someone so dishonest. She tried to friend me on social media last month. Declined immediately and blocked her on everything. Some bridges don't just burn, they get demolished with explosives. No reason to stay connected to people who betray you so completely. The house feels bigger now somehow. Like removing toxic people creates more space for good things to happen. Planning to host a housewarming party next month for friends who actually respect me and my home. Technology is neutral, but humans aren't. The same smart home features that made my life convenient also made my revenge possible. It's all about who's holding the remote control and what they choose to do with the power. Getting Derek's contact info from his wallet let me block his number from my security system. Don't need any surprise visits from angry affair partners. Sometimes late at night, I watch the security footage from that evening. Not because I miss Tara or enjoy seeing people panic, but because it reminds me that I don't have to accept disrespect. I can fight back and win. The smart home revenge was perfect justice. No laws broken, no violence, no permanent damage, except to their pride and sense of safety. Just two cheaters learning that some people bite back when pushed too far. Still the best $800 I ever spent. Totally worth it to see two cheaters get the scare of their life.